Remember that legendary mustache? That casual lean against the Ferrari? That perfect "trust me, I've got this" expression that made every viewer wish they could trade places with Thomas Magnum? Tom Selleck didn't just play a private investigator. He created a cultural phenomenon that turned Hawaiian shirts into high fashion and made everyone dream of solving mysteries in paradise. Today, we're diving deep into 15 facts about the show that defined cool in the 1980s. And no, we're still not explaining how Robin Masters could afford that incredible estate just from writing novels. That man's royalty checks must have been absolutely legendary. But before we start, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. It really helps us keep bringing you this nostalgic content. For anyone who needs a refresher, Magnum P.I. dominated television from 1980 to 1988. Following Thomas Magnum IV, a former Navy SEAL turned private detective living the dream in Hawaii. With his buddies TC and Rick by his side, Magnum solved cases while cruising in Robin's borrowed Ferrari and constantly annoying Higgins, the uptight estate manager. So grab your aviators and get ready, because here are 15 incredible facts about Magnum P.I. The show that made us all consider abandoning our regular lives for a one-way ticket to Hawaii, even if our budget only covered a Greyhound bus ticket. Number 15. The mansion was real. For 8 seasons, we all assumed Robin's Nest, that gorgeous oceanfront paradise where Magnum lived without paying rent, dodged aggressive guard dogs, and sipped morning coffee like someone who'd never heard of utility bills, was just a Hollywood creation built on some studio backlot. Surprise! The actual estate, called the Anderson property, was legitimate prime Hawaiian real estate sitting pretty on Oahu's stunning Waimanalo beach. With its signature red tile roof, private lagoon, and breathtaking ocean views, the Anderson estate became one of television's most famous addresses, the kind of place that made postcards jealous. Sadly, this slice of TV paradise was sold in 2015 and completely torn down because apparently even iconic television landmarks can't escape the inevitable march of progress. So, if you're ever visiting Oahu and someone asks about visiting Robin's Nest, just flash them that classic Magnum smile and say, "Sorry, but Higgins wouldn't approve of visitors anyway." Number 14. The running jokes that made us feel like family. The show wasn't just about cracking cases. It was about those delightful recurring moments that made viewers feel like they were part of an exclusive club. These inside jokes became as crucial to the show's DNA as that famous red Ferrari. Take the bizarre tradition of ordering pickled eggs at the King Kamehameha Club, the kind of questionable bar snack that screams, "I may be living in tropical paradise, but my taste buds still crave punishment." It's a wonderfully weird detail that added to the show's quirky charm. Then there were Higgins' endless war stories.
The discovery was purely accidental, but I find it particularly offensive that you use them to wash down an order from something called Macho Taco.
These tales always began with "during my service in," followed by some exotic location where he claimed to have served with distinction. By the show's end, Higgins had apparently been deployed to every conflict zone from D-Day to the Congo, making you wonder if he was the British military's answer to Zelig. And who could forget TC's constant complaints about Magnum never paying for helicopter rides? By the series finale, Magnum's tab with TC probably exceeded the GDP of several small nations. Though, let's be honest, it still wasn't as high as the bar tab at Cheers. Don't forget Zeus and Apollo, Higgins' vigilant Dobermans, who seemed to have supernatural powers for detecting whenever Magnum was sneaking around the property. They were like a furry security system, but with better instincts and sharper teeth. These running gags created the show's cozy, familiar feel, the kind of inside jokes that make you feel like part of the gang. So next time you're at a bar, casually order "pickled eggs, please," and see who gets the reference. Just don't expect anyone else to pick up your tab. Number 13. The original theme song that got replaced. That iconic Magnum P.I. theme that's probably playing in your head right now. Well, that wasn't the show's original soundtrack. The pilot episode actually featured a much more subdued, jazz-inspired composition by Ian Freebairn Smith, the kind of mellow tune you'd hear in a dimly lit cocktail lounge, not while chasing bad guys across Hawaiian beaches. When the show transitioned from pilot to series, producers realized they needed something with more punch. You know, the type of music that makes you want to gun it in a sports car and pretend every speed limit is just a suggestion between here and Diamond Head. So they brought in the legendary duo of Mike Post and Pete Carpenter to craft something new. The result was a driving, instantly memorable theme that still shows up in commercials, memes, and sporting events decades later. It's like when your favorite indie band finally gets electric instruments and graduates from coffee shop performances to stadium shows. The original theme had its charm, but the replacement became so iconic, it's basically the 1980s condensed into musical form. Number 12. John Hillerman was a Texan, not British. Higgins, with his perfect British diction, military bearing, and unshakable sense of proper etiquette, was the ideal foil to Magnum's laid-back Hawaiian shirt philosophy.
Don't ruin my whiskey with ice. I'm not a bloody American.
But here's the shocker. John Hillerman, the actor behind Jonathan Quayle Higgins III, yes, that's his full name, wasn't British at all. He was born and raised in Texas. Hillerman mastered that flawless upper-class British accent through sheer determination and practice, meaning the guy who sounded like he should be serving tea to the Queen actually grew up in Denison, Texas. He nailed the accent so perfectly that even genuine Brits were fooled. Quite an accomplishment when your hometown is better known for barbecue than royal protocol. And if you've never heard Hillerman's real voice, prepare yourself for a shock. It's pure Texas drawl, which makes his transformation into the prim and proper Higgins even more impressive. Hillerman's performance earned him 5 Golden Globe nominations with 1 win in 1981, plus 4 Emmy nominations with a victory in 1987, making him one of TV's most celebrated supporting actors. Not bad for someone who spent his entire career convincing the world he was raised across the pond. He retired from acting in 1999 and returned to Texas, where he lived quietly until his passing in 2017. He's definitely missed. Seriously, who else is still blown away that he wasn't actually British? Please tell me it's not just me. Number 11. The unexpected Chip and Dale connection. Dale from Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers always seemed oddly familiar. There's a perfect explanation. His red Hawaiian shirt, easygoing demeanor, and adventurous spirit were directly inspired by Magnum. Meanwhile, Chip wore a fedora and leather jacket reminiscent of Indiana Jones. Interestingly, Tom Selleck was originally considered for the Indiana Jones role, which we'll explore more later. So in some alternate universe, both chipmunks might have been channeling different aspects of Selleck's iconic style. Magnum's influence reached far beyond television. His signature Hawaiian shirt sparked a fashion trend in the 80s, transforming the Aloha shirt from casual vacation wear into a legitimate style statement. Hawaiian shirt sales exploded as fans attempted to capture Magnum's effortless cool and embrace the show's relaxed island vibe. So when your kids watch Rescue Rangers on Disney+, you can point at Dale and say, "That chipmunk is copying the guy who made Hawaiian shirts fashionable." They might roll their eyes, but secretly you'll remember when you also tried to pull off that tropical look. Number 10. Tom Selleck's incredible generosity to the crew. After 8 successful seasons, you'd think CBS would be handing out bonuses like Magnum tossing Ferrari keys to a parking attendant. But when the network refused to pay bonuses for the final season, Tom Selleck made an extraordinary gesture. Instead of throwing a Hollywood tantrum or hiding in his trailer, Selleck quietly wrote personal $1,000 checks for every single crew member. And remember, this was 1980s money, equivalent to roughly $4,000 today, or about what a decent used car cost back then. For a production with dozens of crew members, this gesture cost him tens of thousands of dollars. This is the kind of class act that establishes you as Hollywood royalty in an industry where tantrums over the wrong brand of bottled water are practically routine. No wonder the man continues getting work whenever he wants it. When you're known for writing generous checks instead of bouncing them, Hollywood has an excellent memory. Number 9. Magnum's famous fourth wall breaks were revolutionary. Remember when Magnum would raise that eyebrow and break the fourth wall like he was sharing a secret joke? It's essentially the TV equivalent of your best friend giving you that, "Can you believe this?" look across a crowded party, and it became one of the series' most beloved features. Breaking the fourth wall in a drama was risky, especially in the early 80s, but it worked for Magnum P.I because the entire show had a playful, self-aware quality. This was a series where you could jump from dodging bullets to joking with a pair of guard dogs without missing a beat. It made audiences feel like they were actually in Hawaii, riding shotgun in that Ferrari, even if most of us were just sprawled on the couch in pajamas eating cereal. Alright folks, before we continue with more amazing Magnum trivia, please hit that like and subscribe button, and we promise we won't stick Zeus and Apollo on you if you forget to ring that notification bell. Now back to our regularly scheduled nostalgia trip. Number 8. The legendary Detroit Tigers cap had personal meaning. That Detroit Tigers baseball cap became as iconic as Magnum's mustache. But it wasn't just a random costume choice, it was Tom Selleck's personal touch. As a lifelong Tigers fan and Detroit native, Selleck wanted Magnum to reflect some of his own personality, so he asked producers if his character could wear the cap. The producers agreed, and a piece of Michigan pride became television legend. But Selleck's Tigers devotion went beyond fashion. In the season 3 episode A Sense of Debt, Magnum meets actual Tigers stars Sweet Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell. Though in typical 80s TV fashion, he completely fails to recognize them out of uniform. That seems like a pretty big oversight for such a dedicated Tigers supporter. Anyway, if you want to see the real deal, Selleck's original Magnum P.I cap is now housed in the Smithsonian National Museum of American History, making it possibly the most famous baseball cap in television history. Number 7. The Ferrari wasn't actually that powerful. That legendary Ferrari 308 GTS that made us all dream about cruising tropical highways, well, it turns out it wasn't quite the speed demon we imagined. Thanks to US emissions standards in the early 80s, the American versions of the 308 GTS that Magnum drove had significantly less power than their European cousins. The original European 308 GTS models from the late 70s produced around 255 horsepower. But the 1980 GTS I version featured in seasons 2 and 3 dropped to just 205 horsepower. That's quite a power cut for a car that looked like it should come with its own rock anthem. Ferrari eventually fixed this with the 1984 308 GTS Quattro Valvole, or QV model shown in later seasons, which bumped power back up to 230 to 235 horsepower, though it still trailed European specs. So while it wasn't exactly slow, it also wasn't the rocket ship the show's dramatic chase scenes suggested. It's like dating someone gorgeous who's terrible with directions. They might not get you there fast, but they sure look incredible trying. Still, that didn't stop one of the QVs from selling for over $180,000 at auction in 2017. Proof that Hollywood magic can work wonders for resale value. Despite its modest power, the 308 GTS remains one of the most recognizable Ferraris ever built. Largely thanks to Magnum P.I, proving that sometimes looking fast is more important than being fast, especially when you have Tom Selleck behind the wheel to distract everyone. Number 6. Magnum was surprisingly non-violent.
Involving no dealer war.
Why, you chicken liver...
For an 80s action hero, Magnum kept a remarkably clean record. Plenty of fistfights, car chases, and dramatic shootouts, but only one confirmed kill in the entire series run. And honestly, that particular villain definitely deserved it. Sure, he might have broken a few noses and totaled the occasional boat, but he never went full Rambo. This wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate choice by the show's creators to set Magnum apart from his more trigger-happy TV contemporaries. While shows like the A-Team somehow managed to fire thousands of rounds without hitting anything but props, Magnum's restraint was about character, not censorship. His military background made him fully capable of lethal force, but his moral code kept him from crossing that line, like a mustached superhero. He was the kind of guy who would knock out a bad guy, accidentally destroy his boss's wine collection, and still find time to make a joke about it. A thinking man's action hero who preferred a well-placed punch over a body count. It was a smart choice that kept him tough without making him a stone-cold killer, the type of guy who could solve a case, dodge a bullet, and still make it to happy hour. Number 5. The show was ahead of its time on PTSD. Beneath the sun-soaked beaches, high-speed chases, and 80s action spectacle, Magnum P.I. tackled a subject most shows of that era completely ignored: PTSD and Vietnam veterans. While other programs portrayed veterans as either ticking time bombs or invincible action figures, Magnum took a more nuanced approach. Thomas Magnum, TC, and Rick were all Vietnam vets, and the series didn't shy away from their emotional scars. Flashbacks, nightmares, and quiet, reflective moments reminded viewers that these characters carried psychological wounds that even Hawaiian Paradise couldn't fully heal. This authenticity came straight from series creator Donald P. Bellisario, a Marine veteran who drew from his own experiences to bring emotional depth to the show's sunny adventures. So, while viewers tuned in for Ferrari chases and beachside gunfights, they also got a rare look at the lasting psychological impact of war, making Magnum one of the first shows to seriously address the long-term effects of combat trauma. It's a subtle but important element that set Magnum apart from the one-dimensional, muscle-bound action heroes of the era, and another reason the show still connects with audiences today. Number 4. The Hawaiian setting was pure business logic. Magnum P.I.'s Hawaiian backdrop wasn't some stroke of creative genius. It was basically corporate efficiency. CBS had just wrapped up Hawaii Five-0 after 12 seasons, and they weren't about to waste all those tax breaks, sound stages, and local crew connections. You remember Hawaii Five-0, right? Bookham, Dano? So when developing Magnum P.I., CBS essentially said, "We've already got this Hawaiian setup, let's use it." Because why spend millions building new facilities when you can just hand Tom Selleck some sunglasses and call it a day? The irony is that this cost-cutting decision ended up defining the entire series, with Hawaii becoming as much a character as Magnum himself. It's a choice that worked incredibly well, helping cement the island's place in TV history and paving the way for shows like Lost and the Hawaii Five-0 reboot years later. So next time you see a beautiful Hawaiian sunset on TV, remember it all started because CBS didn't want to waste good tax incentives. Number 3. Magnum P.I. had an actual crossover with murder, she wrote.
She's here.
She?
She.
In 1986, two of TV's most unlikely crime solvers teamed up in one of the decade's most surprising crossovers. It started with the Magnum P.I. episode Novel Connection on November 19, 1986, and concluded just 4 days later with the Murder, She Wrote episode Magnum on Ice. The premise: Jessica Fletcher, played by the eternally clever Angela Lansbury, visits Hawaii for what should be a peaceful getaway. You know, beach reading, tropical drinks, definitely not stumbling across corpses. But this is Jessica Fletcher, so obviously she discovers a murder mystery. Magnum, meanwhile, gets wrongly accused of homicide, and the two team up in a partnership as unlikely as mixing surfboards with library science. What made this crossover work was embracing their differences. Magnum's shoot first, ask questions later approach clashed perfectly with Jessica's methodical, analytical style. It's like combining a beach party with a book club. Somehow it just clicked. The episodes became instant fan favorites, even earning special DVD commentary on the Magnum P.I. Season 7 collection, a rare honor in the pre-streaming days when fans needed actual discs and patience. It's proof that sometimes the most unexpected TV partnerships create the best entertainment, even if they'd probably annoy each other in real life. Number 2. The Reboot's sneaky original cast cameos. When Magnum P.I. got rebooted in 2018, producers honored original fans by sneaking in familiar faces, but with a clever twist. Instead of reprising their iconic roles, Roger E. Mosley, originally TC, and Larry Manetti, originally Rick, appeared as completely new characters. Mosley played John Bookie Bakinski, a wise barber dispensing life advice and old-school wisdom you'd expect from someone who spent the 80s flying tourists over active volcanoes. It's like casting Rocky Balboa as a philosophy professor, unexpected but strangely perfect. Actually, that should be a real show because that would be amazing. Manetti, meanwhile, showed up as Nicky the Kid DeMarco, a lounge singer with criminal connections. Basically Rick if he traded his tropical shirts for sequined jackets. And because Manetti apparently loves a good crossover, he played the same character on the rebooted Hawaii Five-0, making him one of the few actors to appear in 2 different franchise reboots. These cameos were like when your favorite band reunites for a comeback tour but decides to play completely different instruments. Weird, but you're still excited to see them performing again. It was a brilliant way for producers to honor the original while letting the reboot create its own legacy. A tricky balance that actually worked for nostalgic fans. Number 1. Tom Selleck lost Indiana Jones because of Magnum P.I. You might think Tom Selleck's biggest Hollywood regret was having to shave off that magnificent mustache for his role in the '97 film In and Out. But no. The real tragedy was when he lost the chance to play one of cinema's greatest characters, Indiana Jones. That's right, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas originally wanted Selleck for Raiders of the Lost Ark. He wanted the part, they wanted him. It was a perfect action hero marriage, a fact that also blew my mind. But there was one problem: CBS refused to release him from his Magnum P.I. contract. In the ultimate cosmic joke, a writer's strike actually delayed Magnum's production, meaning Selleck theoretically could have done both projects if timing had worked out differently. But by then, Harrison Ford had already grabbed the whip and fedora, and movie history was set in stone. So next time you're having a bad day, remember that Tom Selleck had to watch someone else become Indiana Jones while he was stuck in paradise driving a Ferrari. Okay, that still sounds pretty fantastic, but you get the idea. And there you have it. 15 facts about Magnum P.I. that you can use to impress absolutely no one at your next party, or to dominate the most obscure round of trivia night ever. If you're still here, you must have enjoyed this nostalgic trip back to when TV detectives solved crimes without Google or AI. So hit that like button harder than you used to bang the side of your old TV when the antenna went wonky. And if you have a favorite Magnum memory or a fact we missed, drop it in the comments below. Just don't remind us that the Ferrari wasn't actually that fast. We're still recovering from that bombshell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.